All right, it looks like we are officially live on the Facebook. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Automate Your Agency Show, episode number 30. This is going to be our last episode for the year for 2020. It's been an interesting year. Got my good friend and my business partner here, Reynard Bacalso. He's here
What's
to
up?
just talk about how you can get ready for 2021. I'm sure a lot of you are excited to have this year over, but we want to make sure that you get on the right path as you continue to grow and scale your agency. So let us know in the comments below if you can hear us. If you're watching live, let us know. As a standard kind of operating procedure here, I'm going to go ahead and check my phone just to make sure that we're not talking to each other here alone. Um, but let us know where you're from. Let us know if you're watching live. And if you've seen some of our posts in the last couple of days, um, let us know if you have any questions about, planning for 2021. So it looks like we're live right now. So we want to talk about a certain, do you call it like a planning kind of tool? Is it a method, right?
Yep.
That we've come across in this year. And it was Renat who introduced this to me. It's called OKRs, Objectives and Key Results. And before OKRs, we actually implemented something else, which was from another kind of author. It was the Scaling Up book. What was the name of that method again? It's the one page strategic plan. And
Yeah.
we soon realized that the one page strategic plan, although it's a really good tool, especially for much bigger companies, there was like a lack of feedback. Like there was the feedback loop wasn't very strong. And, we needed something a bit more focused. I think that's the word, right? And we introduced OKRs, objectives and key results, in Augment Digital, which is the agency that, that fuels a lot of things that we run. A lot of the systems that we teach in Agency Rocket Fuel was born out of Augment Digital. It's the agency that continues to run up until today. And we also implemented the exact same system, right? OKRs with Agency Rocket Fuel. And I think just implementing this system just has allowed us to really focus on what truly matters and focus on and even make decisions, right? Whether we should pursue something else or another opportunity, because we always go back to the OKRs. But Rainer, maybe you can like give a brief or just a run through of like what OKRs are and how businesses and agencies in particular can leverage this in 2021.
Yeah. So I think a big part of any business, growing business, is to have goals set and like a direction for yourself and your team if you have a team, right? So I think that's a big part that most people overlook, especially when starting out. And to be honest, it's not a priority to get these done if you're still starting out anyway.
Yeah.
It's not a big priority, but if you have the time, it is something really good to start doing early on. You don't need to do a lot of thinking to get your initial set of clients, initial set of results, and get some testimonials and the whole 9 yards. But as you grow and you experience those um, growing challenges, what you'll have to do is you need to start planning on what challenges you want to tackle. I think that's a big one because people think that all problems can be solved immediately or like at the same time, but the truth is it's not. You'll have limited bandwidth, you'll have limited resources. So your goal is to identify the best path wherein you can choose really what problems do you want to solve in the company, in what sequence, so that you come out at the end of the period achieving the overall goal. Right. So that's what OKRs helps you do is you point yourself and your team in the direction to really understand like what everyone is going to be focused on in a certain quarter in a certain year, so that everyone knows, okay, this is the number one thing I have to go after. This is what I have to put focus on if ever I have a decision to make of my time. Like today I'm loaded with tasks, which ones I'll focus on, it should be stuff that's related to whatever objective you set. So that's really the goal of OKRs, is to give you direction, and to give you that level of clarity when it comes to prioritizing what you have to do um, in your agency moving forward, right? So that's basically what OKRs and why it's important for you. Even again, if you're new, it's still something you can try. I mean, you should do to kind of like exercise your mind, like what initiatives can I take to kick off the growth of my agency. So yeah, that's what OKRs are.
Makes sense. And you know what, man? I mean, I'm actually looking at some of my files here, and I actually implemented OKRs for my own personal life. And I think,
Mm.
if you're starting out, like what Reynard said, you don't need to worry about all this stuff. You just need to focus on getting the right offer to the right market, right? And making sure that, you can actually sell something. And then, you can start figuring out scaling stuff from there. But then, um, you know, I want to drive home like how to use OKRs in a more personal sense. And we have Hart Charles here that says, "Hi, Franbo and Reynard. Hart here watching live from Manila." There you go. There you go. My fiance is in Manila right now, but good to hear from you, Hart. So, objectives and key results, right? Let's just dive into it, right? So, most people when they set goals, right, they have this kind of lofty view of like, okay, let's see something personal. Like, I wanna lose weight, right? Or I want to look buff. Or for me, my objective was I want to have a lean and toned body. That was like my objective. Now, before I learned about OKRs, I would just stop there, right? I would say, okay, I want to have a lean toned body, and that's it. So what do I do next? Okay, maybe I just need to go to the gym, and that's it, right? Now, when Rainer introduced the whole objectives and key results thing, right? Objective is something that's, was it qualitative, bro? It's like it's something that you aspire for, right? It doesn't have, there's no
Mm-hmm.
measure to it, right? I mean, and a key result, right, is something that's measurable. It's that if you reach the key result, right, then that means that you're making progress towards the objective, right? Did I
Yeah.
kind of summarize it in a good way,
Yeah,
right?
so key result, yeah, you're right. The only difference is really objective is qualitative, key result is quantitative. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Yep.
So we can dive into business here in a bit, but like, let me give you an example of something more personal. Like, if the objective for me is to have a lean and toned body, the key results that I place is I want to be able to squat 220 pounds, 1 rep max. I want to do bench press around 75, deadlift of 300 pounds. I'm reading off my list here. Overhead press of 100 and barbell row of 155 pounds. All of these are 1 rep each. These are very measurable things that I know if I'm able to hit that goal, that rep, then I would have gained the strength and also like the physique to actually do that, right? And it's such a different way of thinking about things and thinking about business because now it's much more measurable, right? I know the last squat that I did, it was 180, and I'm like 80% there, right? One of the things that I wanted to do personally is expand my worldview, and so that was the objective. The key results there that I placed here was complete 15 books on my Kindle and read 30 articles on like economics, right? That was like my key result there. So that's really helped me, think of initiatives, think of ways to really, hit these objectives, and it's quite helpful for business as well. Actually, the OKR system, right, Rainer, it's used by like big companies like Intel, Google. I think
Mm-hmm.
those are the two that I know. And especially if you have a large organization like that, it's much more important to really keep that focus in, if that makes
Agreed.
sense.
Yep. Yep. For sure. Makes
So let
sense.
us know if you have any questions about objectives and key results. But that's the whole thing, right? When you're getting ready for 2021, right? You want to think about what is the ultimate kind of vision or goal that you want to achieve, right? Whatever it is it an income goal? Do you want to grow your team? Is it about profitability? Think about that, and then start thinking about the different objectives and key results. And we'll give you guys a couple examples here that you can kind of take and use. But Raina, before I share my screen, is there anything you kind of wanted to add on that?
Yeah. Not really much other than what we've already talked about. Again, some people think like, what's the use of like setting an objective? Isn't that just like a goal? I think the key, the devil is in the details, right? Like the key here is that with OKRs, you set qualitative goals, like objectives are qualitative, meaning they are again they don't have any numbers, and the goal and the reason for that is because you want to set stuff that are aspirational. When you want to set goals, you don't want to say make 100,000. I mean, that's aspirational for the business owner, but for your team, maybe not so much, right? So you want to set aspirational goals that are away from numbers, so that the OKR system has a component of aspiration and motivation to it, and isn't just like cold hard numbers all the time, spreadsheets and stuff. Excuse me. But what supports that are hard numbers in the form of key results, meaning what numbers would signify that you actually got to that objective. Right? And we'll show you some examples in a bit, but that's just what all you have to really remember, that the key results quantify your qualitative objective, right? So that's basically the OKR system, right? So I think showing some examples will make it clear for a lot of people.
I love it. So before we dive into the examples, we'll show you an example of like what we use at ARF. Then we'll show you a spreadsheet that we use to track things. But do note that you don't need to get fancy with your trackers and all that. What's important is you get clear on what the objective is, what the key results are, and there's a simple way to track it, right? Could be a spreadsheet, could be a notebook, Evernote, whatever it is. There just has to be a way to track the numbers. Now, I'm going to share my screen with a couple of people that are on here. We have Denise. Hey, Denise. We have Jovel. Obviously, Hart was here a while ago. Thanks for hopping on. We're just gonna share a couple examples here. I'm gonna share my desktop. All right, and we're here. So, um, for let's talk about Agency Rocket Fuel, right? Um, right now we have a vision, right? Me and Reynard, we studied industrial engineering. We've studied systems and automations and delegation, and we
Mm-hmm.
want to kind of teach that to everyone else, right? We want to teach these to business owners, to people that are scaling up, so that they can ultimately have more time for themselves. On the other end of that, with the systems that we build, we're also able to provide jobs for people all around the world. And because of the systems, right, the owner has extra time because of delegation, and we help them delegate as well. Now that's such a it's a vision, right? It's an end destination, but how do we know, right? How do we actually know that we're there? And this is why having a vision and mission is great, but like being able to implement OKRs and like being able to quantify that, that's really where you can have that implementation in place. So let's kind of talk about this, right? Let's look at this part of the screen. These are our objectives for 2020, right? One is be a thought leader in the marketing agency industry. And again, it's qualitative, right? There's no measure of it. There's no way for us to know that I'm a thought leader, at least right now, right? So be a thought leader in the marketing industry. Another example is have our clients fully experience fanatical support, right? One of the core values that we have in our company. And number three is, drive more accelerator enrollments. This is our main program. Now, of itself, this is good, right? It gives you direction. But if you want to take it a step further, you want to add key results to it, which is like a more quantitative kind of view that if you achieve this particular thing, then you know that you've hit the objective. So on the screen, right, maybe you can explain how the key results tie into the objectives. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say number one, if we want to be a thought leader in the marketing agency industry, a quantitative key result for us, at least this is what we've determined, is that we can acquire 10 active partnerships using a model that we've kind of invested in, right? And a partnership for us is somewhere in where, we can do a training for their audience, they can do a training for our audience, or we do a podcast or whatever, right? That's like a key result there, right? Right. I think you want to add to that.
No, that makes sense. I think so far, yeah.
Right. Pretty self-explanatory, right? It's very similar to, let's say, if you have a personal goal of like losing weight this year, right? If that's your objective, if you want to fit into your clothes more, then maybe the key result is to lose 5 pounds, right, in the next 30 days. Yeah, that could be a key result. Now, let's do this. For a lot of agencies, right, they want to make more sales. So for us, we also have that objective, right? Drive more accelerator enrollments, right? And the quantitative aspect of that, the key result of that is one, we want to achieve a call to close rate of at least 30%, right? We want to have 12 book calls per month from our outreach methods. This is us reaching out to other people, and 30 applications per month from our marketing channels, right? These are the key results that we've set. And we know as co founders, me and Rainer, that if we're able to hit these numbers, we're able to hit our revenue goals as well, right? Now, this is so much better than just saying, "Hey, I want to get to 100K a month," right? And you focus on that. And some people they can get by that, but really focusing on, because these are like lead indicators, right? These are numbers that if you know you're gonna hit your income goals as well. So we're really dissecting your goals much further, right? In that regard. And lastly, another example is have our clients fully experience, right, fanatical support, right? This is something that we hold ourselves up against in our program, and the key result of that is make sure that 90% of our clients are hitting their timeline, and we have zero action items on our end, right, as a company. So use this as an example to start thinking about the different objectives that you want to have in your business, right? Do you want to have the best team in the world, or do you want to have you want to drive more agency clients, right? What is it that you want to achieve for 2021, and then start thinking about the different metrics that you need to hit, that if you hit them, that you're making progress towards that objective, right?
Yeah. And I think a key part here everyone has to remember is that you'll notice there's only three here. There's only three objectives. As a company or as a team, usually a team size, I would say it's like 8 to 10 people. Um, you need to have only 3 to 5. Five is even a lot. Three is already a lot. Like 2 to 4, I would say is a safe bet. 2 to 4 objectives and one to three key results, no, 2 to 3 key results per objective. So the thing about objective key and results, the goal is really to help you prioritize and set, what I want to do this quarter, this year, right? You don't want to be like the, it will defeat the purpose if you have like 20 goals here, because you're not going to move forward on any of them realistically within a team. So example, if you're a company though, still the same as an example, your 10-person team, you have two departments, let's say ad buying and account management, or sales, let's say ad buying and sales. Your company will have only three objectives, and then each team will also have only three objectives that all help the main objectives of the company, right? So the other thing you have to remember about OKRs is it's really about driving focus on in your company, and that's the only way it's really going to work out, is if you allow it to help you focus. If you want to be like, oh, I want to do like this, I want to work on my emails this month, I want to work on my, no, not this month, quarter, I want to work on my marketing, sales, ad fulfillment all at once this quarter, then you're fucked, right? So this will be of no use at all to you, because you're trying to drive so many objectives for the business, right? So you need to focus on certain things, and even if you go across, if you drive multiple objectives, as long as they're all towards a specific, goal, like in terms of the key results and stuff, then you should be good, right? So just making sure you're clear on that focus aspect is really important, because you realistically cannot achieve everything within a certain time period, right? And as you can see, this is like our tracker and stuff. I think another question we can get is like, why quarterly? Why not monthly? Why is it quarterly? Don't we set goals on a 30-day time span, 30-day, thing? Why is OKRs quarterly? So the reason why OKRs are set quarterly at the maximum, some people do it monthly for startups and like smaller, more quick businesses, but it's usually quarterly no matter what business, because you want to be planning long term. The point of OKRs is to step you back and make sure goals are clear and a long term vision is clear. Because what happens on the day to day of running the business, you get so sucked into like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, this month I need to do this, and you forget your direction, forget your focus, you forget what are the high leverage points in your business that will actually move you forward, right? So OKRs, you need to just set them quarterly. If you set the wrong one, meaning you set a goal, like example, we reach 2,000 members in our Facebook group, and then you never reach it, then that's something to learn from. At the end of the quarter, you're gonna think about, why didn't I reach it? Why did I hit it? Is it too low? It's too high? These are things that you'll identify once you finish the quarter, and then you're gonna iterate from there. If you make it monthly, it's too short of a time period. Like, you can do so many things in a month to make results look good, but a quarter we've seen is a good balance and is recommended by a lot of OKR experts. That gives you really that long-term timeline while being able to iterate quick enough as well. Because again, OKRs are meant to be big picture movements. They're not just like launch a new ad next week for client A. That's not an OKR. That's not a key result. That's not an objective. That's a tactic. That's an action you're taking. That's not even a strategy. OKRs are your long-term vision translated into milestones that you can achieve on the way, but they're still tied to the long term, and they're not tied to your day-to-day kind of like work, right? So that's something to keep in mind as you try to build out your OKRs.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, right now, you guys are looking at our tracker, but you don't have to get as fancy as this, right? But the whole point is that you want to have an objective, right, that is aligned with the vision, right? From your objective, well, right, what Reynard said, you want to have 2 or 4 objectives in your company, right? From those objectives, you want to have certain key results, right? And those key results are ideally they have to be quantitative, and they lead towards the objective, and then you need to have a way to track it, right? For us, we do a period of a quarter, and then in that quarter, we actually update the sheet every week, right? What is the data, right, for this particular key result? And there's someone that's responsible for that, right? There's someone that's responsible for that key result, and then you update the key result. Now, we just implemented this year, so this is back when we first implemented the whole OKR system. We did a test, and for us, like the objective was still the same, but we had like more key results, right? We knew that if we're able to reach 2,000 group members, have this amount of subscribers, and interviewed 10 times, and we know that we were making progress with being a thought leader, right, in the marketing agency industry. Now, we're not quite there yet, but what's important is that we've made progress, and that we can learn from this, and we can iterate on the next period, right? And this is so much better than just saying, okay, I want to achieve this goal, but there's no way for me to kind of track that, right? So at least I think if you can't measure it, then you can't really improve on it, right? Some quote like
Yep.
that. So there's a lot of resources out there that you can learn from. But if you're just starting out, or if you're, thinking about implementing OKRs to into your business, then um, one, just watch this video. But second is, if you're just starting out, just focus on your offer and sales. But when you're like, you have 8 to 10 team members, or even if you're like one or two or three people, right, you can still implement this. But just make sure that you really like focus, right, one or two objectives, and then a couple key results, right. um, for most of you, it will probably be sales, probably marketing, or it will be improving your fulfillment system. Right now, maybe you can share about like what you implemented in Augment, right? I think for this quarter, you just focused on like one very specific but very important kind of objective, right?
Yeah. So our objective this quarter was, um, actually, let me search the actual wording. I think that'll be better. But the
Okay.
actual, like I said, objectives are meant to be aspirational. They're not meant to be, like very hard numbers. So, example for us, our objective for the quarter is produce incredible results for clients despite the massive competition during the holidays, so they can scale and we can earn more as a team with our performance-based deals. So it's a very long sentence, but it captures like the excitement and the rallying cry that we wanted to put our team behind, for this quarter. So again, we started simple. We started with one. This is one objective for the entire company across all departments, and for and we had three key results under them to kind of like signify have we hit those goals, right? So that's kind of like our objective, and the reason why we only chose one is because we wanted to kind of like allow the team to get used to the OKR system and reviewing it. Putting everyone on like 100 goals at the start is counterintuitive because no one is gonna really take it up, even if you have just like two objectives, three. Some teams might not be quick enough, so that's up to you as you set it up. We set it up as a full-fledged system, like three objectives per team, 6 months ago, and the take up was really weak. So we reduced it to one and tried to get the team kind of like on the same page first, and make sure like everyone knows how to use the system and is used to it, before like rolling it out fully again. So that's what we did, and it's just very nice to see that. For example, for us, we started the quarter not being like, our confidence level on two of those key results were like 5 and 6, but when we end the quarter, they're at 8, they're 9. One of them is still at 6, but that's the nature of OKRs, right? At least there's that transparency of like which key results did we fail to hit, which key results did we um just had a hard time on, so that next quarter you can make sure it's a focus for your team to tackle it, right? So having that transparency and having a goal just makes it so much easier to run your organization more efficiently, and at least you have a direction. So that's basically what we did in the Augment Digital side for a quarter.
Makes sense. So Anne Camille here says that please send me a template. We'll love my OKR dashboard to be like this. So the OKR dashboard, it's reserved for private clients, but yeah, since Camille is a private client, of course we're gonna give you that. But again, like if you're just starting out, you're not yet a private client of ours, just start simple, right? Objectives, certain key results, and just put it on a spreadsheet. Doesn't have to be fancy. What's important is the actual tracking of it and the feedback loop, right? You want to do a quarterly timeline, right? And then you want to review the OKRs every single week. Just set a time on your calendar with your team to just review everything, have an honest look at where things are at, and then just update your database. So we have Layden here, hashtag live, 2 hearts. What's up, man? So that's it. If you guys have questions, let us know. In particular, but that's all we got, right? In terms of objectives and key results.
Yep,
Um,
yep, yep.
yeah. So do you guys have any questions? Jovel says slow internet. Oh, sorry to hear that. Let's see. Bring Denise on camera. Oh, cool. You can do that. Who wants to go on camera? That's pretty cool. Didn't know that. But what else, man? What else can we share? I think that's it, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Sounds good.
All right, everyone. So actually we have 8 people live here. Um, okay, Denise says, thanks guys, always making me think about what I need. Absolutely. Um, So yeah, let's do this. What if you're an agency? Before we hop off, like, if you're wanting to get to like 20K a month, right? What is a good kind of objective to think about? Like an objective, a key result, maybe help a couple people out here. Um, Ideally, you need to have a good offer, right? An offer, you need to have applications coming through your door, right? So what is the objective of that? Like be known in the market, right? As an authority. or as an expert, or
Mhm.
what? Yeah, what do you think?
What was that? Sorry.
You know, I was just saying we can crash that. I was just giving an example of like what if someone wanted to get to 20K a month, right?
Mm.
In their agency, like what is a good objective and key result to kind of put out there, right? Even if they don't have a team, right?
Yeah, I think objective is get more clients. So it depends on what's your ticket size. So like there's again, it's very contextual and like where you're at. So there's so many ways to get to 20K per month, which is either more clients or maybe lesser clients but more revenue per client, or maybe it's retention, or maybe it's changing how your program works or changing how your services are set up. Maybe it's collecting 3 months worth of revenue on upfront more, so you can close two clients and you're actually already at three clients and you're at 7K per month instead of, I mean, 20K per month instead of having to close 10 clients in a month. So there's multiple ways to go around it. And I would say that it really depends on where you're at. So understanding where you're at, doing a review of what you have in place, and then setting the relevant objectives to get you to where you want to be. That's how you're gonna identify what you kind of like have to set in place in terms of objectives.
Makes sense. Grace says objective, key results. You got it. Layden says thanks, guys. Not only for this episode, but also for the being consistent, right, with our content every week. You got it. And that's it. That's it, man. So this is our last episode for the year. It's gonna be the holidays. I hope you guys are excited for this for the holidays. And we've done this for the last 30 weeks, right, of this year, providing content for everyone here. We really hope, right? We really hope that you've gotten at least some sort of value, right? Not just watching the shows, but implementing it into your business. Because like what really matters for me and Reynard is that you implement the stuff that we teach you. You know that we never hold anything back, and that you actually save some time, right? You save some time. They're locking up the office. You save some
Mhm.
time. You maybe get a new hire. You streamline some of your processes. In fact, I had one guy reach out to me and he implemented this in his hiring business, right? He doesn't even run an advertising agency, and he was able to save so much time, something that he would spend hours on, now he spends 5 minutes on. So we really hope you got a lot of value from this group. We'll be off for the next 3 weeks, but we'll be back next year. And hope you guys stay safe out there. Hope you guys have enjoy the holidays and come back in 2021 much stronger. And again, use the objectives and key results to make sure that you hit your goals. But with that said, we'll sign off and we'll see you guys next year.
Yep.
All right.
See you guys. Have a good
Thanks,
holidays.
everyone. Bye.